Frizzled beef, also known as cream chip beef. It's light, it's quick, it's easy to make, and it's a comfort food. Oh.
That mothers and our grandmothers used to make.
It's
and
true.
Tinky Weisblatt, she's the writer of TinkyCooks.com. Tinky, it's nice to have you here.
It's so good.
Good
so
to
happy
see
to be
ya.
here. I know.
Tinky's back.
Tinky's back. Yes.
Now, today we're making kind of retro foods that moms and grandmothers and great-grandmothers might remember.
So if they didn't start by like 1920, we're not interested. Older, a lot older than me.
Than
certainly,
you,
than
because you
I.
strike me as a lady in your late 20s.
That's, how did you know?
We must
know,
have the same birthday.
I stole your driver's license. I was checking it out.
So this is a retro vintage meal,
These
right?
are, yes, these are things that I learned to make from my mother and my grandmother, and pretty much everybody's mother and grandmother would make them. And the thing we're making first, the frizzled beef, is actually good for your money-saving May. It's not quite as inexpensive as what Bill Collins made yesterday, but it's really not bad, and it takes no time. So we have some butter going. Would somebody throw our beef in here,
Yes,
please?
you don't have to ask me twice.
This is dried beef, and you do want to look for a store that will cut the dried beef for you. Do not buy it in a package. Do not buy it in a jar.
So is it a kind of beef that you go for in the store,
If
or
you say, I need dried beef, and I mean, God knows how many preservatives. We don't ask, but
a valid point?
yeah, but it's really, really good.
But
and
you
it's,
just ask for dried
Yes.
beef.
Oops.
That's a thing.
Let me
I've
turn
never
this
seen
down.
it at the store.
You have
never
to
seen it
call
either.
around and ask. I got it at Avery's in Charlemont. I just go to the butcher counter and I say, please give me dried beef.
Like your dried
and
beef.
cute Matt. Hi, Matt. Matt gives me dried beef. So would somebody throw some flour on here, please?
How much flour
Well,
would
we're kind of needing to move fast.
There we are.
Yeah.
Okay, quickly.
Let's start there.
Tell me when.
Keep going a
So
little more.
why are we adding flour to our
This is
to our
like
dried
making
beef?
a roux, only you're not making the roux separately. You just let the flour dissolve in the beef. Okay, now.
But there's no
would
liquid.
somebody shake our milk?
There's
Well,
no
let's
liquid.
show
have
it
it.
before. So it's yeah, you
This
can
is
see
magic milk.
magic milk. Now take a
Because
look at
the
this.
cow's name is Magic.
Oh,
That's a good one. But Tiggy, what's up with this? Why is there gradation in color?
Well, because it's not homogenized. It's from my neighbors at Penn and Plow Farm. They don't sell the milk, by the way. They sell lots of vegetables and eggs, but they gave it to me.
Huh.
And when the milk isn't homogenized, the cream, which is, it seems weird, but it's lighter, rises to the top.
So the cream rises to the top.
Mm-hmm.
so I'm shaking it now.
And then you're going to pour us a cup of it into our cup measure, please.
No problem. I think the frizzled beef is just I need to try it.
I
You know,
don't
it's
think
one of
I've
those
ever
Would you
things
like to divide an egg, please?
You're darn right.
We need the egg
divide
yolk.
this egg.
The
So
white.
just
There you
the
go.
yolk.
I need the yolk. But if I got a little white, it wouldn't kill me.
Okay. There you go.
Okay.
Get rid of that.
no shells.
There we go. This is good.
nice.
Nice job. Okay, so throw it in the milk, please.
I'm not done yet. I want to make
Oh.
sure that you get no yolk.
Oh my goodness, he's
It might
so
take me a while.
He's
precise.
such a perfectionist.
I'm thorough.
Ah.
Look at that yolk.
We don't need to be. And then, well, while he's doing that, you want to do a
There we
tiny
go.
bit of
Yes.
mustard, please.
There we go.
Put me to work, Tinky.
Yes,
and was that right
just-
in there too?
Yeah, that goes in there,
How
and
do
then
you
we're
define
going to,
tiny bit?
like that.
Is this special mustard?
This is homemade mustard.
How do you make mustard?
Oh, maybe we'll come back and make mustard
Can
one
you
day.
actually? You just
Homemade
you
mustard?
shot a lot of milk right into my eye.
Now we
It's
wanna-
magic milk.
Quickly,
Not to be
quickly,
confused with
scrunch
the-
that together.
Magically gonna blind me.
And we're almost done. This is how easy this dish is.
Really?
Yes.
So what have you been doing over there while we were cracking eggs and
I've
Cracking
just been
wise.
keeping
Shaking
this
milk.
alive.
You just
keeping the milk?
Keeping it from burning, scraping the bottoms, and then we'll deglaze anything that's left with our. Now we probably don't need all of that. Look how gorgeous it is with that farm fresh egg.
Very
Nice
good
job.
It's so yellow. Okay, pour me some milk, please.
all right. Pour it in.
How
there.
much? You tell me when.
I'd say about 2/3 of it. That looks like plenty.
Perfect.
And this is basically our dish. It comes to a boil, it thickens, and that's the end. And we're going to put it on biscuits.
I want to hear the story you have about frizzled beef.
Oh, okay. This isn't actually about frizzled beef, but it's about my mother.
Oh, and it's Mother's Day coming up. Okay, share the
Yes,
story
because
about
these
your
are
mother.
Mother's. So when my mother was just this little pistol of a. All her life she was a pistol.
And
but
you take after her,
when-
don't you?
I guess perhaps. She had a little self-confidence, and she was very lively and very smart. Anyway, so the only person who ever hurt her confidence was Calvin Coolidge.
Okay.
Well,
I know, isn't that weird?
President Calvin Coolidge.
President Calvin Coolidge, who was actually president. This is how old my family is, when she was a little girl. So her family came from Vermont, and they used to go to the Coolidge homestead to visit, even though Coolidge was in the White House. But it was like a pilgrimage thing because people in Vermont were very excited that there was a president from Vermont in the White House. So they were there one day in their Model T Ford or whatever, and, you know, parked in front of the Coolidge home, and out comes
Calvin Coolidge.
He just walks out, and of course, this is before the Secret Service. He's by himself. He's the president, you know, just walks out of his door. And my mother shot up. Hello, Mr. President. Hello, Mr. President. And he said, "Good day, little girl." And he turned on his heel and went right back in the house. But she was still proud that she had met him. And
It's something to write home about.
That's such a cute story. Not everyone can share a story like that, Tinky.
not everyone is that old. Okay,
So,
would
Tinky,
you
we're gonna
snip
come
us some
back.
chives?
I will
We're
snip you
gonna
some
let Ash,
chives.
you, Chip, snip up those chives. There we go.
Snip up chives for the chipped beef.
And
I'm
I'm
so
putting
excited
this
about the Calvin Coolidge story.
Right here?
got.
I know.
Snip it where?
Yep, on top of the chipped beef.
So we're gonna finish this up, and then later in the show, we're making upside down pineapple cake, right?
We are.
So that's right. Coming up on the show.
Are you stuck on what to make your mother for dessert that is as sweet as she is? I am.
My mom is so darn sweet. I don't know what to make. Maybe I'll just give her sugar.
No, you'll make her a pineapple upside down cake,
do that. I
right?
should hope
So we're
so.
back with Tinky. She's a writer and a blogger and a singer and gosh, who knows what
Everything.
else from TinkyCooks.com. And so we're making pineapple upside down cake.
Yes, we are, and boy, is our bottom working. So pineapple upside down cake was originally also often called skillet cake, and ideally, you make it in a cast iron skillet. Now, if you don't have a good cast iron skillet, then you can melt, this is melted butter and brown sugar. You can melt those in another skillet and then transfer them to a baking pan, but we're gonna bake in the skillet.
Okay.
So this is our melted sugar and stuff, and then we just put our, somebody want to put some pineapple on here?
Yes, please.
Arrange it as decoratively as possible. This is a little small as skillets go. I could not find my 9-inch, which would be perfect. This is an 8-inch, and it just barely,
I think it's going to be perfect, Tinky.
well, when I baked it, the other one at home yesterday, it was like so close to going over, but it didn't, so.
Okay, well, we'll just cross our
There.
fingers. Oh, one more piece. Ooh,
Oops,
it'll
sorry.
fit, right?
It'll fit. Close enough.
There you go.
There we go. So this is the what will be the top of the cake eventually.
Right.
And then basically you just top that with your basic yellow cake. So I have some butter and sugar that I'm scooping up a storm with here. And we're gonna add some eggs to that, please.
All right, the whole eggs.
You're Eggman.
Whole eggs, fresh from the chicken. Whoops, let me turn this off while you're egging.
There we are.
Okay, now I'll go. Woo, beating, yeah, look how, when they're fresh from the chicken, they're so yellow. Okay. Now next, we alternately add our flour and milk. And you always start with the flour and end with the flour. So
Okay.
we want about a third of the flour, and then half of the milk, third of the flour, half of the milk, third of the flour.
Very
Why don't I-
confused. All right,
How do
here
you
we
do
go.
this when you're by yourself,
There's
Tinky?
some flour.
I turn it up even more. It
Oh,
could be
more?
a little more.
I didn't know if that was a third or
And
a
then your
quarter.
magic milk.
Then we have our magic milk from Magic the Cow at Penn and
Okay.
Flower Farm, yes. Wait a minute, let me do this a little first. We have to, okay, now, milk.
Here we go.
About half the milk. And that's half a cup of milk total. Okay, more flour.
Now, while he's doing that, Tinky, can you tell us your pineapple upside down cake
Oh, I would
story?
love to tell you this is a story about my mother. And go ahead. When she was a young married person in Madison, Wisconsin, she had a friend, go right ahead, who was like an amazing cook.
Not Calvin Coolidge, though.
Not
right?
Calvin
Okay.
Coolidge. This was someone more of her generation.
I guess so.
This woman had a cheesecake recipe that was to die for. I'm just going to put in some baking powder. Would somebody throw in a pinch of salt, please?
A pinch, you got it.
And my mother
want some?
really, really wanted the cheesecake recipe, and her friend really, really didn't want to give it to her. She was mean. So she thought it was proprietary. So, I didn't spit on the cake.
That's okay. We just won't eat it.
That's character. That's probably how your mom or grandmother made it, right?
Anyway, so my mother was having this woman to dinner one night, and she came home from work late, and she thought, you know what, instead of making the yellow cake, I'll use a mix. She made pineapple upside down cake. Well, this woman had never had pineapple upside down cake. And now
was
we need a little,
floored.
the vanilla, please.
Oh, yes. All of it?
She was amazed, yes. 2 teaspoons.
Her friend that wouldn't give her the...
Yeah, and she said, I really want the recipe. And my mother was so embarrassed. She said, no, you don't. And the woman said, oh, yes, I do. Please, 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 I'll give you my cheesecake recipe.
Oh
And
my
mother said,
gosh.
it's a mix. And she never got the cheesecake recipe,
didn't?
but she had the virtue of being honest.
That's the important part.
And we're just going to pour this on here, but why don't we eat some?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it
Oh,
goes
by the
here.
way.
And then, Tinky, we put it into the oven.
You
at
put
what
it onto
temperature
the
and for
oven
how
at
long?
350 for 35 to 40 minutes.
And then when it's done, you take it.
When it's done, you take it out, you let it sit for 10 minutes so that it'll come in from the edges.
And then you flip it.
And then you flip it. And here it is flipped.
Upside down. And the chipped beef was delicious.
Oh,
So
so
glad
good.
you liked it. Okay, so grab a little upside down cake.
All right. But served with best ice cream, maybe? Or what do you think?
Well, I whipped up some of the cream from the top of the milk from Pen and Plow Farm.
Oh.
Unfortunately, the Mass Appeal freezer
It's
is
a
a little
little-
erratic. So
true.
first it was too stiff, and now it's like completely wet. But
There
we're
we
just,
go.
It's because this is such a sweet cake, and I didn't put any sugar in the whipped cream. You need a little whipped cream.
Well, Tinky, we will try in a little bit. In the meantime, if you want a copy of this recipe and so many more recipes, just visit us online, mymassappeal.com, a little bit later today.